Now, here's your host, Tom.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Friday. That's right. Hope you got your weekend planned out. Looks like it's going to be a great weekend. Cold front moves through tomorrow with a small chance of rain, but then Sunday, you ready for this, folks? The high, mid to upper 70s. Can't wait. Also, can't wait for this. Joining me right now in studio, Brian Pope. He's the director of Lubee Bats. Brian, good morning to you.
Well, hey, good morning to you. Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, the weather this weekend looks absolutely perfect. We've been waiting a long time. It's been a hot summer. Hey,
so we got another victim of the didn't know we had moved group.
I didn't seem to get that memo, and I'm always early, so I was a little bit late, so my apologies.
You were not late. You got here right as we went on the air. That's
perfect.
Fine.
All right, then that'll work for me.
As long as you were here. When we went on the air, I said, Brian Pope from Lubee Bats, and you said, good morning. We're good.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Great.
So tell people, what is Lubee Bats?
Well, we've been around for 32 years. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to saving bats in their habitats, to research, conservation, education, with a focus on children and community engagement. So in our 32 years, we have worked in 20 countries. We've done everything from local community engagement, building schools, empowering women's groups, creating jobs. We've worked all the way over to Fiji, in the Solomon Islands, to right here in Florida.
We have a bat conservatory right off 3rd Street here in Ocala. There's a conservatory park here in Ocala.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have a big bat habitat there. Now, I know Lou Bacardi real well.
Yep.
I've known Lou since we were in our late 20s. I've known Lou quite a while. They have quite the bat conservatory, the Bacardi family, just north of Gainesville.
That's us.
That's you. That's you guys. That's you guys.
Yeah. So we were founded by
the Bacardi family.
We were started by Louis Bacardi.
Right. By Louis Bacardi.
Yeah. Right.
And his son Lou is who I knew real well.
Oh, great. You guys still friends? Then?
Yeah,
You
we
guys
are.
Still talk?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what we've been really doing is trying to carry on his father's legacy. You know, he really had an interest and a passion in bats, specifically these type. I know we're on camera. Fruit bats, flying foxes.
That's why the bat's on the Bacardi bottle.
That's right, because they had an interest in them. So we were founded by Louis back in 1989. Unfortunately, passed away in 1991. So really, I was with Lubee from 96 through 98, and then I went to Disney. Actually, the bats that are at Disney's Animal Kingdom came from Lubee.
Right.
Yeah. So I moved with those bats there. I was there for about 10 years, and I came back in 2007 as curator. And then I took over as director in 2011. And actually, our executive director was Lewis's lawyer, Roger Hagenson. Roger, and then his son is also heavily involved, Brian Hagenson. And they were just at Lubee a few days ago.
I met Lou, the son, because I ran at the time. You had just missed me because you had went to Disney.
Right.
I came and I brought the first mellow mushroom ever to the state of Florida. We opened Mellow Mushroom at 1201 West University Avenue in the old Miami Subs and Arthur Treacher's restaurant right there on University. And
what was the address again?
1201 West University Avenue.
Okay.
It was literally right down from Leonardo's.
I used to live in it was like an efficiency apartment with a sliding glass door. There are apartments there. I think I was right by where you guys
were. There were one-room efficiency apartments like right behind us.
That's where I was at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like in that little alleyway. The little alleyway that ran behind Leonardo's and everything.
Yep.
That's right where we were.
Mm-hmm. That was right by where you guys at.
And Lou Bacardi come in, and I struck up a conversation with him. He's eating pizza and everything. I introduced him to a very good friend of mine who they dated for a while.
Right.
So, yeah, I got to go and see and Lou, mind you, this was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So we were in our party ages. Lou and I, we
all were.
Yeah, we knew our way around the bars of Gainesville.
Salty dog.
But yeah, exactly. It is still probably my favorite place in all of Gainesville.
Agreed.
Is the Salty Dog.
Yeah.
But he took me out to the conservatory.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
And we've got
largest
species of bat in the world there. And some of the bats that were there whenever Louis Bacardi was still alive are still there. We're talking 32 years later. Some of those bats are still alive.
I was an adult and was like, wow. And then they said, you don't understand how many kids groups we bring through here. And
totally.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
if you haven't been over there, it's an amazing place.
I think that's one of the things that we do is a lot of tours, a lot of outreaches, but really working with children and working with the community. We've also worked with veterans groups, organizations that focus on underserved children. So that's, again, trying to carry on Lewis's legacy. It's not only with the conservation of these animals, and it's not even just protecting bats. You're protecting habitats, which encompasses a lot of different species. Again, we just worked in got a grant to work in our 20th country, but it's also with education, community engagement, and working with kids, and that's one of the main things we do. In some of our purposes we talk about, it's animal care. We provide some of the best animal care out there. We are certified by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. That is the gold standard. So animal care, providing the best quality of life for these animals, conservation work, preserving species and habitats, but really education. It's inspiring that next generation. When you and I are gone, who's going to carry this on? So let's inspire these kids to get involved, to get active, whether it's in their communities or whether it's overseas somewhere, to try and make a difference for themselves, for these animals, and for the communities that live with these animals as well.
Do you still get blown away? And you've been doing this a long time now.
Yep.
Do you still get blown away when you're out there at the conservatory right at dusk and you see the exodus as they all decide it's time to wake up?
So those are Florida bat houses. That's not Lubee. Our bats stay there.
Yeah,
now, that being said, but
they move around.
They do. They don't. Well, no, they stay where they're at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these type of bats right here. These are the ones that Lewis brought in.
Right.
So these are we keep them at Lubee. They do not go anywhere.
I thought there were more that went everywhere. I knew the ones that you had in the habitats and all, but I thought there were ones that left the grounds and came back.
So those are the. Technically, yes. So there's the large bat houses, the Gainesville bat houses,
right.
Lake Alice, but that's not Lubee. But we just installed our 99th bat house. We put 99 bat houses around Florida, and we have 7 on Lubee property. So those are native bats that they come and go as they please.
Okay,
and
maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah, right now we do have some bats in those houses, but they're wild. They do their thing. But the bats at Lubee, so the ones that were there whenever Lewis came in, we just had 5 babies born, which
right.
people, we'll talk about Bat Fest here in a bit. People are going to be able to come out, on next Saturday. We just had some babies born, but those type of bats, these are the old world fruit bats, flying foxes. They stay at Lubee.
Oh, okay.
But we also have some native bats that were injured. There were rescues that we brought in, so we do have some native species as well. I know I got a picture here. Look at little Charlie there.
There he is.
I love Charlie.
Let me ask you this quick. Tell people, because some people may not, bats. All I know about bats is if they bite you and they turn into Count Dracula and the vampire bats, you could die. And tell people.
You're killing me here, man. You're killing 32 years of conservation education. But that's our job, though.
Tell people why bat conservation is so important and why bats are a mammal that have to stay. They can't go anywhere.
Well, I love that you said they're a mammal, because a lot of people still think that they're birds. And
no, they're mammals.
We have 2 cameras in our exhibits. We have 12 large bat exhibits. We have 2 of them have cameras. People from all around the world can watch them. Now, one of those cameras was in our breeding pen. So they got to watch. It's a male group of females, and we know the genetics on all these bats. We know we could put together. But there were pregnant moms in there, and it was a risk. Say, okay, we have a camera in here. If something goes wrong, it's what happens. But luckily, we've had very good mothers. People got to watch bats give birth. And people are like, going to even, some people, again, think they lay eggs, they're birds, but they're mammals. No, they're mammals. And I know I got a couple pictures. These are twins that were born.
Right.
And here's a mom and her pup. Fantastic shot.
Oh,
So people, but you brought up a good point. Lubee's here to bat conservation education. So why bats? Okay. So when it comes to mammal importance, pandas are cute and all, but what do they really do for people?
They eat.
So
they eat bamboo. That's
even though they have like a bear's digestive system. But anyway, bats are some of the most important mammals to humans. One, they eat a ton of insects, including mosquitoes. You got it. Agricultural pests and things that bite. At night. But a lot of these insects too. I know. I can look out and I know where I'm at in Ocala, and I know that there's a lot of farms here, there's a lot of cattle pastures, and obviously this is horse country here. So bats are the ones that are eating those flying the flies that suck the blood. Horse flies. I mean, they're the ones that are eating these insects. So whenever it comes to insect control, there was a study done back in 2011. See how much these type of bats. This is a big brown bat, and they're all over Florida. They go all the way up into Canada and Alaska, and all the way down into South America. These bats eat tons of insects. Okay, a study in 2011 showed that bats save farmers in the United States between $4 and $50 billion. So they're eating a ton of insects. Now, also the fruit bats like we have at Lubee, seed dispersal and pollination. a lot of the plants that we depend on, like agave, if you like your margaritas and your tequila, bats are the only ones pollinating
Well,
the
see,
flowers.
that's what people didn't realize. They think bees do that. Bats are a huge pollination animal.
Absolutely. So bananas, cashews, agave, mangoes, a lot of the agricultural crops we depend on, bats are the ones that are pollinating. And there's been study after study showing, you and I know how bad deforestation is getting in tropical areas of the world. The first plants that come up, plants, trees, whatever, are bat-dispersed seeds. Every night they're out there. They're not biting people. They do bite any mammal. Any animal's going to bite, you know. Right. They don't just carry diseases. They don't, okay? We all have, we all carry certain things. They don't, but they don't just have diseases.
Wait, Brian. Bats have rabies and they can kill me.
About less than 0.5% of bats have rabies. Well, a lot more skunks, foxes,
and they got
raccoons.
rabies from some other animal. They didn't.
Yeah, they don't just have it. And that's one of the diseases. Bats are so small that if they were to get rabies, they're dead within 48 hours because they don't go through a lot of the phases. But you see any wild animal on the ground, whether it's a bat, anything acting weird, just leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Call the animal professionals. People get bit, because they mess with certain animals if they find them on the ground. Leave them alone. But bats don't just have rabies. They can get it, but so can we, so can other mammals. But you're talking about importance of bats. You look at all the mammals out there, and a lot of people think that bats are more related to, that they're flying mice. Rodents and humans are actually on this side of the spectrum. Bats are actually more closely related to carnivores, and actually even more closely related to rhinos, horses, Ocala horse country, and tapirs. They are their own order of bats. And if people come out to our bat festival next Saturday, October 23rd, they're going to learn all about it.
Let's talk about the bat festival. How did this idea come about, and how long has it been going on?
So this is going to be our 17th year doing it. And the first time, I think it was a collaboration with the Florida Museum of Natural History. I wasn't there for it. I think I came a few years later.
You were back you were at Disney.
I was at Disney.
With the bats you were taking to Disney.
Yeah, bats, komodos, crocodiles, a lot of different animals.
You went from the conservatory to a cast member, and now you're back at the conservatory.
I was a cast member for a long time. I tell you what, it was a great company to work for. I was a little skeptical, wasn't it, to go, but it was a great company. But anyway, I came back to Lubee in 2007, but this is our 17th year doing it. And it started off, I think there were 60 people. Now we can get anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 people. And really what it is, it's a large community event, and we got something for everybody. For the parents, and I got to point this out. Now, you and I have calmed down since our party days a little bit, but we do like the occasional beer. We're going to have a beer garden in Bat Festival during our Bat Fest.
Well, it's Oktoberfest, might as well.
Absolutely. I got to run down a list because some of them are right from Ocala. So we got Blackadder, who's also a Lubee sponsor. Love these guys. Swamphead, Cypress and Grove, First Magnitude, the Hogtown Brewers, which is a home brew club. Right. Hiatus Brewing, right out here in Ocala. Yeah. We got Big Hammock right here in Ocala. Azalea City out of Palatka. Dry Rot, which is a cider place, just came out of Gainesville. Brick City Brewers here. Daft Kyle, new brewery opening up. Halpatter Brewing Company out of Lake City, and then Infinite Network. Yeah, so huge beer garden for the adults. Right next to that's going to be a kids zone area. We always have things for kids.
We're
going to have bouncy houses.
Right next door, kids.
Yeah, so the parents want to let their kids run off a little bit, have a good time. Everything's right there. One of the big things our programs and events coordinator, Tracy Pope, put together is a lot of nature play areas for kids. That's one of the things that we work with a lot of educators in Gainesville and Alachua County in trying to get kids outside.
Right.
When you and I grew up, I grew up in the foothills and the mountains up in the Appalachians, up in Pennsylvania, and it's you go outside and you play.
I grew up in Florida. You went outside. My mom latched the screen door. She handed you your food on a plastic on a paper plate out the door. You didn't come back in. I want water. The hose is over there.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is get these kids outside. So we have a lot of nature play stations opening up. I'd mentioned already that you're going to get to see some of the world's largest bats. We have nearly 200.
Can you interact with them?
No, you're not going to be in with them. The bats are in outdoor enclosures, but you're going to see them. And I mean, they're awake during the day. So people are going to get to see them interacting with each other, playing with toys. Again, we just had 5 babies born, so they'll be able to see that. But the big thing this year, besides we're going to have more beer, more food vendors, and actually just over 60 vendors, environmental, arts, crafts, that sort of thing. It's one of the largest environmental and just fall events in North Central Florida. But the big thing is, and we've been busting our tails over the past few months, we're opening up our brand new education center. And I like to think that Louis Picardi would be very proud of that. It's the largest project we've done in years. We literally gutted an old animal building that we had. It was the original bat building that Louis had built. And then he had another one, a much larger one built. But we gutted it. It's an open-air pavilion, and it's going to have signs, displays, interactives. We're giving presentations there. It's it's planted up. It is an absolutely gorgeous building.
Why? And I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask for the listening audience that doesn't know. Because once again, I know Lou, Bacardi Lewis's son, so I know the answer to this. Why'd they pick Gainesville? Why? Out of all the places, I mean, the rum distilleries down on an island. There's Jacksonville's got a Bacardi plant there. Why the outskirts of Gainesville?
I think he liked the property. Now, don't quote me on this. I think from what I know, this is what I believe. I think he just liked the area. I think that there was some land available. I think that he also liked how close it was to the University of Florida, and that if anything happened with the animals, because back then, and this is like 89, 90, it wasn't just bats. And there was
all kind of stuff there.
Oh, yeah. He had the world's largest collection of European bison. I think the world's largest collection of marmosets and tamarins. We had birds. We had
it was a wild
monkeys.
Animal
oh, yeah. There was a
yeah.
lot of stuff out there. So people come out. We have these huge fences, and they're like, okay, why? Well, it's because there used to be antelope and stuff out there, you know. But I think he just really liked the area. There was some land here, and I believe proximity to the University of Florida.
I asked Lou that question when, I was like, how in the world did y'all end up, the Bacardi family end up here just out on the outskirts of Gainesville? He goes, 2 reasons. One, a real estate agent showed Dad the land, and he fell in love with it immediately. And 2, it didn't hurt that one of the best veterinarian schools was just down the road.
I was right. Cool.
That's
All right,
exactly,
good. I'm glad I
that's
got
exactly
that right.
what Lou told me. His dad, the main driving force of why it's located where it is Lewis just saw the land and went, this is the place.
I mean, it's beautiful old Florida country.
It
and
is.
A lot of those, we haven't taken any trees down. So
It
you
takes
just
you back
have
to
these
Florida
huge,
cracker days.
It's huge oak trees, Spanish moss sweeping, and that's one of the things with the festival is we love for everybody to come out. It's a day away. People get to have a good time. Bring your family, friends, and I got to say, so with the prices, so 5 to 12, it's $5. 13 and up, it's $8. Children 4 and under are free. And if you want to have unlimited samples of 12 different 10 breweries, 2 home brew clubs, it's an extra $20 for unlimited pours. And to keep in mind, we are a nonprofit. We were started by Bacardi, but we do not get money from Bacardi. But
so everybody under 4 years of age is free.
4 and under, free.
My wife is sitting in
How
the studio.
Doing? You guys got to come on, man. It's a blast. We have so much fun.
She says that I act like a 3-year-old all the time, so I get in free.
She gets unlimited pours, DD.
Oh yeah, I don't like it because she tells me I'm a 3-year-old all the time.
Well, I'll tell you what. Afterwards, why don't you and I go to Saudi and then we'll have a good time?
We'll go to Saudi. Exactly.
But it is. I do. My buddy Mark comes. I'm going to throw a shout out to him, and he's going to be here. He always helps out with Bat Fest, and it's the day after we got to go down to Saudi and just.
So there's a lot
of
fun for kids. The beer garden is there entertainment.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing up. We're going to have live music all day. Band's called Jig to a Milestone. It's like Irish Celtic folk rock. It's like uplifting, fun. It's just party music, and they have a good time.
I think
they
played Hogtown before.
They have. Yeah, Hogtown, the beer fest.
No, the Renaissance Fair.
Yes, Jig to a Milestone. So we've got those guys. So live music, again, over 60 vendors, arts, crafts, environmental, a beer garden, a ton of stuff for kids to do, all these new nature play areas, world's largest bats, babies, but the big thing is the grand opening of our new education center, which we can't wait to debut that. If anybody wants information, they go to, we're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which is huge right now. Lubee's blown up, but Lubee.org, Lubee.org.
How many, on a ballpark for me, on a education thought, how many groups of students do you bring in on a regular basis? Is it pretty much a revolving door of field trips and kids learning about from all over the state?
Pre-COVID, because there's not a lot of field trips now. I mean, my wife and I'd mentioned her. Yeah, pre-COVID, like Tracy, who I'd mentioned, my wife, she and I both work there. And she and I were seeing tours all the time, and she handles those. But there aren't a lot of school tours right now. Like our boys, there are no field trips. Right. But pre-COVID, oh God, I want to say that we got about 70 to 80 schools throughout the year come in, plus our outreaches. So you're figuring, quite a few a month. We are private, so people can't just come in, but everything's scheduled. But, I mean, we're reaching over 30,000 people a year just in the community. And it's about bats, it's about wildlife, it's about protecting the environment, getting involved, sustainability, things like that. So that's one of the big things that we've been doing for 32 years is community engagement involvement.
Why is Florida and its habitat and its climate so good for bats?
I'm just because it's warm all the time. And the bats we have here don't really hibernate, so they can pretty much eat year-round. Now,
and we have mosquitoes year-round, so I'm okay with that.
We have 80 species, and I think at least over half of those are introduced. But, because there's always going to be a food source. Even in the cooler months, mosquitoes are still active. So it's just good habitats for Florida because of the heat and the insect population.
622-9622 is the number to call if you want to be involved. You got any questions to ask about Lubee? You got a question? So now I got to turn the microphone on for you. Hold on.
Yeah, let's talk. Seriously, if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Is that the right microphone? I don't know. No, it's not the right one.
I can't hear you now.
Is that the right one?
Is that the right one? I actually have a question. I lived in Houston, Texas for a while, and obviously there's a lot of mosquitoes there, and there are bats prevalent. Somebody had told me that if you just hang a bat house on outside of your house somewhere, a bat will be drawn to it and it will help eat your insect population. Is that true? I mean, you just hang the house and like somebody will show up?
So a good question. And I was just mentioning earlier, we just put up our 98th or 99th bat house, but there are keys to doing it, so you can't just like put it up. So here in Florida, where we do have warm weather, we always face it southeast, about 20 feet in the air. We put them on huge posts, but you can go minimum 12 feet. Facing southeast, 20 feet up, at least 20 feet from a tree line, so they don't have any obstructions or anything like that. With our climate, we stain it about a medium brown color. The further south you go, you're going to want more of almost like a beige, a little bit lighter. Now, I went to Penn State, and when we were doing houses there, we were facing them east, because when that sun's in the south, those bats are hibernating.
Right.
They're in caves hibernating, but we would stain them a black color and face them east. So there's kind of little tricks you have to do. Within about a half mile of water, you want it to get about 6 to 8 hours of sun. I mean, it's a lot of little tweaks, and you go to our website, lubee.org, for more info. But we've had a lot of success. And honestly, one of the big things is the spaces in between the chambers. In bigger houses, they don't like small ones. They like a lot of room. The type of bats that are going to live in a bat house, for the most part, are colonial. There's going to be a lot of them. They love cramming into each other. But it's those gaps in between, about 3/4 of an inch, 7/8. It seems to be the perfect trick for the bats that we have here. It'd probably be the same in Texas and then here in Florida.
A lot of people don't realize this, but bats have saved numerous lives, not just eating insects with malaria and everything. People don't realize the technology of sonar was developed from scientists studying bats and figuring out how bats locate where they're flying to and everything.
Yep.
And then that's what we put in submarines and on ships and everything. People have been saved, lives have been saved in open water of the ocean because of the study of bats.
Correct.
And sometimes people don't seem to put those two together. And that's another thing that people don't think. A use that bats have, we were able to study them, figure out how they were able to fly around and land and everything using sonar, and it's a technology that still to this day is used by navies all over the world.
Yep. When they started, whenever they really started looking at bats and how are they getting around at night? No, it's a myth that they're blind. They can all see well. They have eyes just like we do.
But it's still pitch black.
But it's pitch black, so it's a better means for them to get around. So they would blindfold the bats, and these things could still get around. This is like a century or two ago. But then they muffled their ears, and these things couldn't fly. Didn't know where they were going.
You didn't know they were flying into walls,
So that's when they
trees.
started to figure out, like, okay, there's something else going on. And then that's when they figured out echolocation, sonar, and then that's where they come from. Now, talking about saving lives, too, when I first started working with bats 25 years ago, there was about 900 species. Today, there are over 1,400 species of bats. Wow. Only three of which are vampire bats, okay? This big, they live in Mexico, Central South America. There is an anticoagulant in their saliva.
Wait, they don't live in Transylvania?
They don't. No blood cell. There is a carnivorous species over in Europe, which is pretty neat. It eats birds. Pretty wild. But with the vampire bats, they have an anticoagulant in their saliva. So they go up to it. They don't have big canines. It's their incisors. They just make a little slit. But whenever they're lapping up that blood, there's an anticoagulant in there that keeps the blood flowing. They use that in medical research for stroke and heart attack patients
because it's blood.
Because it's such a powerful anticoagulant. So insects, controlling insects, seed dispersal, pollination, echolocation, sonar, Draculin, which is actually what they call that synthetic,
Right.
they be able to synthesize it. So I always talk about they're some of the most important animals outside of mammals that we eat, pigs, cows, that sort of thing. Bats are some of the most important mammals to humans.
Bats are as important to the ecosystem as honeybees are.
Absolutely. They're keystone species.
They are. Hey, tell people one more time where they can find out more information before we got to go to break.
Lubee.org,
LUBEE.org. They can find out about Lubee. More importantly, find out about our Bat Fest, which is next Saturday, October 23rd from 10 to 5.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, my friend. Appreciate it.
We'll be back after this timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
President Bill Clinton was hospitalized in California Tuesday with a suspected blood infection. He's at University of California Irvine Medical Center. Doctors there are saying that they are closely monitoring the 42nd president, and he's being given IV antibiotics and fluids. On Thursday, Clinton's staff said he's on the mend and in good spirits. New York real estate heir 78-year-old Robert Durst was sentenced Thursday to life in prison without the chance of parole for the murder of his best friend more than 2 decades ago. Durst was convicted in Los Angeles Superior Court last month of first-degree murder for shooting Susan Berman. You can spot a close encounter between Venus and the bright orange star Antares in the Friday night sky to the southwest just after sunset. Unlike the grouping between Saturn, Jupiter, and the Moon this week, Venus and Antares are going to be just about on top of each other. This is USA Radio News.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced with HSC's home warranty coverage. Call now, and the first month is free. If the lines are busy, please call back.
Call now, 800-238-9182, 800-238-9182, 800-238-9182. Again, that's 800-238-9182.
Seems like everyone's looking for BOGOs these days, but only Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens goes the BOGO one better. A mix and match BOGO on a whole bunch of your favorites. Just listen. Mix and match honeysuckle, hibiscus, Hawaiian Thai, shooting star, oleander, a whole lot more, all in the big number 4 size. You mix them and you match them. You buy one, you get one free. That's this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. How about those crotons? They're perfect for fall, and the regular price is $12.99, but just $9.99 this week at Bob Wine's. Those orange bird of paradise are bursting in bloom. Not $49.99, just $39.99, and you've just got to see them. This week, head on over to Bob Wine's for fresh herbs starting at just $1.99. Check the ad. Head to Bob Wine's on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming location since 1952.
Think you know Dex Imaging? Think again. In the office, streamlining communications. In the field, delivering top-notch service, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
Fine Arts of Ocala's 54th Art Festival is back. Mark your calendar for October 23rd to 24th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 151 artists from around the country will compete for $27,000 in awards. Enjoy live music on 2 stages, chairs for relaxing, food trucks, children's activities presented by the Appleton Museum, and so much more. And it's all free. Admission, parking, children's art projects, and live entertainment. Fine Arts for Ocala, and a fun outing for the entire family. Don't miss out. Again, that's October 23rd to 24th from 10 to 5 each day. Presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. A few of our tractor services include bush hogging, disking, and rototilling. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's